The front door creaked open, and I froze mid-step in our living room. Something felt wrong. The house was too quiet, too still, yet I could sense movement upstairs. Alex's car wasn't in the driveway when I pulled up, but his keys sat on the entry table, along with an unfamiliar pink purse. I'm Nadia, and this was the moment my carefully constructed life began to splinter. Hushed voices drifted down from our bedroom. I recognized Alex's low murmur, followed by a feminine sob that definitely wasn't mine. My heels clicked against each step as I climbed the stairs, each sound echoing like a countdown. The bedroom door was ajar. I pushed it open to find my husband sitting on our bed next to his sister Jenna, his arm around her shoulders. She wore an oversized sweater that couldn't quite hide what was obviously a pregnant belly. "What's going on?" My voice came out steadier than I felt. Alex's head snapped up. "Nadia, you're home early." "Clearly." I remained in the doorway, my hand still on the doorknob. "Would someone like to explain why you're both in our bedroom at 2 in the afternoon?" Jenna wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, smearing her mascara further. "I'm sorry, I didn't know where else to go." "We need to talk," Alex said, standing up. "It's actually good you're here now. We can discuss this together." "Discuss what exactly?" "Jenna's pregnant." He gestured unnecessarily at his sister's obvious condition. "She's not in a position to raise a baby right now, with her social media career taking off and everything." The pieces clicked together in my mind before he even finished speaking. My stomach turned to ice. "No." The word came out sharp and final. "Just hear me out," Alex pleaded. "We've been trying for years, and Jenna needs our help. It's perfect timing, really." "Perfect timing?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You want us to adopt your sister's baby without even discussing it with me first?" Jenna stood up, one hand resting on her stomach. "I know it's a lot to ask, but you and Alex would be amazing parents. And I'd still get to be in the baby's life, but without the responsibility I finished for her. Just like everything else in your life, Jenna. You make the mess, and everyone else cleans it up." "That's not fair," Alex cut in. "She's trying to do the right thing." "The right thing?" My voice rose. "The right thing would have been using birth control. The right thing would have been talking to your wife before making life-altering decisions about our future." "I didn't plan this," Jenna protested, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. "You never plan anything. That's the problem." I turned to Alex. "And you enable her every single time. She's my sister. And I'm your wife. Or did you forget that part?" The silence that followed was deafening. Alex looked between us, his face twisted with indecision. But I already knew which way he would lean. He always chose Jenna. "We can make this work," he said finally. "Think about it, we'd finally have the family we've always wanted. The family you want is one where your sister can dump her responsibilities on us and still play mommy when it's convenient?" I shook my head. "That's not the family I signed up for. Nadia, please. I need some air." I backed out of the room, my hands shaking. "Don't follow me." I made it halfway down the stairs before the tears started, but I refused to let them hear me cry. The pink purse still sat on the entry table, taunting me. I grabbed my keys and walked out, slamming the door behind me. In the driveway, I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My phone buzzed with Alex's name on the screen. I declined the call and started the engine. This wasn't just about a baby. This was about years of watching Jenna manipulate her way through life while everyone scrambled to catch her when she fell. But this time, I wouldn't be there to help pick up the pieces. I ended up at Liam's studio, watching him work on some corporate logo while my phone buzzed endlessly in my purse. 3 days had passed since I'd walked out of my house, and I still couldn't bring myself to go back. "You know they're at your place right now, right?" Liam didn't look up from his tablet. "Susan called me twice asking where you are." "Of course she did." I picked at a loose thread on his office couch. Let me guess, she's worried about how this is affecting Jenna's stress levels. Actually, she mentioned something about a family dinner tonight. Apparently, they need to discuss the situation as adults. My laugh came out harsh. Because that worked so well last time. The doorbell chimed downstairs. Liam's studio occupied the second floor of an old converted warehouse, and the sound echoed through the space like a warning bell. He checked the security camera feed on his monitor and grimaced. "It's Alex. You've got to be kidding me." I stood up, moving away from the windows. "Did you tell him?" "Of course not." Liam looked offended. "But he knows we're friends." It was only a matter of time. The doorbell rang again, more insistent this time. My phone started buzzing, Alex's face appearing on the screen for the 20th time today. "You should talk to him," Liam said quietly. "Even if it's just to tell him to fuck off." I knew he was right. I couldn't hide forever, and this wasn't Liam's problem to deal with. I grabbed my phone and headed downstairs. Alex stood on the sidewalk, his suit wrinkled like he'd slept in it. When he saw me, relief flooded his face. "Nadia, thank God. We've been worried sick." "We?" I stayed in the doorway, arms crossed. "Or just you?" "Everyone. Mom and Dad are at the house with Jenna. They want to talk this through, find a solution that works for all of us." "There is no solution that works for all of us, Alex. That's the point." He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar it made my chest ache. "Can we at least discuss this? You disappeared for 3 days. No calls, no messages. I didn't even know if you were safe. I needed space to think. Something I wasn't getting at home with your sister crying in our bedroom and your parents showing up unannounced with baby catalogs. They're just trying to help." "Help who?" I stepped onto the sidewalk, anger finally breaking through my exhaustion. "Help Jenna avoid responsibility again? Help you play the perfect son? Because it sure as hell isn't helping me. That's not fair. We're family." "No, Alex. Jenna is your family. I'm just the wife who's supposed to clean up after her messes." A couple walked past us, quickly averting their eyes from our clearly private argument. Alex lowered his voice. "Come home. Please. We can work this out. Like we worked it out when Jenna crashed our honeymoon because she was having a crisis? Or when she borrowed $10,000 from our savings without asking. When does it end? She's different now. The baby changes everything." I stared at him, really looked at him for the first time in days. The man I married was still there, but he was buried under layers of obligation and guilt that I couldn't penetrate. "You're right. The baby does change everything." I took a deep breath. "Which is why I'm not coming back until you and your family understand that I won't be part of this plan." "Nadia. No. I mean it, Alex. Either you start setting boundaries with Jenna, or..." I let the sentence hang unfinished between us. His phone buzzed, probably Jenna or his mother wondering where he was. He glanced at it automatically, and in that simple gesture, I saw our entire future. "I have to go," he said, already backing away. "But this conversation isn't over." "Yes, it is." I turned back toward the building. "You just don't know it yet." I waited until his car pulled away before letting the tears fall. Behind me, I heard Liam's footsteps on the stairs. "You okay?" "No." I wiped my eyes. "But I will be." The notification popped up while I was reviewing project timelines at work. A social media alert I'd set up weeks ago to track Jenna's online presence. What I saw made my coffee turn bitter in my mouth. There she was, perfectly posed in our guest room, now apparently her content creation space, surrounded by unopened baby gifts. The caption read, "So blessed to have an amazing family supporting my journey into motherhood. Sometimes the universe has other plans for us. #blessed. #pregnancy. #new chapter. My fingers trembled as I scrolled through the comments. Her followers gushed about how brave she was, how inspiring her story would be. None of them knew she planned to hand off her baby like a used handbag. Nadia? My assistant knocked on my office door. The Miller account team is waiting in the conference room. Cancel it. I grabbed my purse. Family emergency. I drove to our house, my house, knowing Alex would be at work. The spare key was still under the potted plant, exactly where we'd always kept it. Inside, evidence of Jenna's takeover was everywhere, makeup scattered across the coffee table, pregnancy books piled on the kitchen counter. A tripod set up in front of the bay window. Upstairs, the guest room door was open. I stepped inside and froze. The walls were freshly painted a soft yellow. A white crib stood half-assembled in the corner. Our wedding photo, which had hung above the bed for 5 years, was gone, replaced by a collage of Jenna's ultrasound pictures. My phone buzzed. A text from Alex, "Where are you?" "Mom says your car's in the driveway." I ignored it and opened Jenna's laptop, still sitting open on the desk. Her email was already logged in. 20 minutes of searching revealed everything I needed: correspondence with brands about sponsored pregnancy content, a draft blog post about her e-adoption journey, and most damning, messages to 3 different men about child support. The front door opened downstairs. "Nadia?" I quickly forwarded the relevant emails to myself, then closed the laptop. Susan appeared in the doorway, shopping bags in hand. "What are you doing here?" Her tone was sharp, protective. "I live here. Or did everyone forget that? Jenna needs a safe space right now. Your attitude isn't helping." I laughed. Her safe space is my house. With my husband. Using my life as content for her followers. She's family. And I'm what? The incubator stand-in? I held up my phone, showing her Jenna's latest post. "Did you know she's been messaging multiple men about this baby? Or that she's already signed contracts to document the adoption journey?" Susan's face paled. "You had no right to go through her private information. Like she had no right to move into my home and take over my life?" Heavy footsteps thundered up the stairs. Alex appeared, breathing hard like he'd run from his office. "What's going on?" He looked between us. "Mom called saying you were here acting crazy." "Show him," I said to Susan. "Show him what his perfect sister is really planning." "Nadia, stop." "No, you stop." I turned to Alex. "Your sister is playing all of you. She's monetizing this whole situation. The baby, the adoption, our marriage, it's all content for her followers." "That's ridiculous," he started, but I was already pulling up the emails on my phone. "Read them yourself. 3 different men think they're the father. She's negotiating child support with all of them while planning to give the baby to us." Alex's face went through a series of emotions: disbelief, anger, confusion. But when Susan put a hand on his arm, I saw the moment he chose denial again. "You shouldn't have invaded her privacy," he said quietly. Something inside me snapped. "That's what you focus on? Not the lies? Not the manipulation? She's pregnant and vulnerable. She's pregnant and scamming everyone." I shoved past them both, heading for the stairs. "But you know what? Keep enabling her. Keep pretending she's the victim. Just don't expect me to stick around and watch." "Where are you going?" Alex called after me. "To find a divorce lawyer," I said, not looking back. "Consider this my official exit from the Jenna show." The door slammed behind me with a finality that felt like freedom. The divorce lawyer's office felt too small, too warm. I spread the emails across her desk while she read through them, her expression carefully neutral. Outside, rain pelted against the windows, matching my mood. "These messages definitely show a pattern of deception," she said finally. "But they also reveal something else you should see." She turned her monitor toward me, showing a banking website. My stomach dropped as I recognized our joint account login. "When did you last check your finances?" I hadn't. Not since everything exploded. The numbers on the screen made my head spin, regular transfers to an account I didn't recognize, dating back months. $50,000, the lawyer said quietly. All withdrawn in increments just under the reporting threshold. My hands started shaking. Alex wouldn't. The transfers started 3 months ago. Around the time your sister-in-law would have discovered her pregnancy. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. The late nights Alex spent at the office. The sudden interest in handling our finances. The way he'd discouraged me from checking our investment accounts. My phone buzzed, Liam calling. I declined it, then noticed 3 missed calls from my boss. Before I could check the messages, another call came through. Unknown number. Mrs. Henderson? A man's voice I didn't recognize. This is Detective Morris. We're trying to reach you regarding some suspicious financial activity. The lawyer quickly took the phone. This is Caroline Webb, Mrs. Henderson's attorney. Any questions can be directed to my office. She ended the call and looked at me gravely. We need to freeze those accounts immediately. And Nadia? There's something else you should know. She pulled up a real estate listing on her computer. My house, our house, listed for sale. The posting was only an hour old. He can't do that, I whispered. We both own. Check the date on this power of attorney document. I stared at the paper she handed me. My signature looked perfect. Too perfect. The date was from last month, when I'd been at a conference in Seattle. It's forged, I said numbly. Most likely. And very well done. They've been planning this for months. My phone buzzed again, Liam. This time I answered. Turn on the news, he said without preamble. Channel 8. Now. The lawyer found the station on her office TV. Jenna's face filled the screen, tears streaming perfectly down her cheeks as she stood outside my house. The caption read, Local influencer reveals family betrayal. When I discovered my sister-in-law had been embezzling from our family business, Jenna was saying. I had to come forward. The stress isn't good for the baby, but sometimes doing the right thing means making hard choices. Family business? I choked out. We don't have a. Keep watching, Liam said grimly. The camera panned to show Walter and Susan standing supportively behind Jenna. Alex stepped forward, looking appropriately concerned in his best courtroom suit. We've filed charges, he told the reporter. The evidence is clear. We just want this resolved quickly, for Jenna's sake and the baby's. The lawyer muted the TV. When did you send those emails to yourself from your sister-in-law's computer? Yesterday. Why? Using your work email? Yes, the realization hit me. They were waiting for it. They needed me to access her computer. To support claims you were stealing information. Combined with the forged financial documents they've likely prepared. She started typing rapidly on her computer. We need to move fast. They're trying to destroy your credibility before you can expose their scheme. My phone lit up with messages, colleagues, friends, even my parents. The story was spreading. What do we do? My voice sounded distant to my own ears. We fight back, she said firmly. But first, we need to get ahead of this. They're not just trying to take your money, Nadia. They're trying to take your whole life. I watched Jenna cry perfectly on mute, Alex's supportive hand on her shoulder, and felt something cold and hard crystallize in my chest. Then let's take theirs instead. The baby's cry pierced through the house like a knife. I stood frozen in our bedroom doorway, staring at the bassinet that hadn't been there when I left for work this morning. Alex sat in the reading chair, cradling a tiny bundle while Jenna hovered nearby, phone in hand. What is this? My voice came out barely above a whisper. She came early, Alex said, not looking up from the baby. We couldn't reach you. Couldn't reach, I pulled out my phone, showing the screen. No calls. No messages. Jenna stepped forward, her camera clearly recording. We tried everything. But you've been so unstable lately, maybe it's better you weren't there. The room spun slightly. 3 days. I'd been gone from the house for 3 days, dealing with lawyers and damage control, and they'd managed to completely rewrite reality. Get that camera out of my face. I moved toward Alex and the baby. How dare you bring? Don't come closer. Alex stood up, turning his body to shield the infant. The restraining order is already filed. The words hit like a physical blow. What restraining order? Given your recent behavior, Jenna's voice dripped with rehearsed concern, we had to take precautions. For the baby's safety. My hands started shaking. My recent behavior? You mean exposing your fraud? The money you stole? See? Jenna turned her camera to capture my reaction. This is exactly what we're worried about. The paranoid accusations, the aggressive behavior. Stop recording. I lunged for her phone, but Alex stepped between us. That's enough. His lawyer voice, the one he used in court. This is exactly why we needed the order. You're out of control. I'm out of control? I laughed, the sound bordering on hysterical. You forged documents, stole my money, tried to destroy my reputation, and I'm out of control? The baby started crying louder. Jenna immediately reached for it, cooing softly. It's okay, sweetie. Mommy's here. Auntie Nadia was just leaving. Auntie? The word tasted like poison. You mean the woman you're trying to frame for embezzlement? Please leave, Alex said quietly. Before we have to call the police. I looked around the room, our room, now filled with baby supplies and Jenna's things. My photos were gone from the walls. My books cleared from the shelves. They'd been erasing me piece by piece while I fought their legal attacks. The police? I pulled out my own phone, starting to record. Let's call them. Let's show them how you've systematically. The sharp crack of Alex's hand hitting my phone away echoed in the sudden silence. We stared at each other, both shocked by the violence of the gesture. The baby wailed louder. You need help, Nadia. His voice was gentle now, practiced. Everything about this was practiced. We're worried about you. Everyone is. I looked at my phone lying face down on the floor, then at Jenna still recording, her expression a perfect mask of concern. The baby's cries filled the space between us like an accusation. Something inside me shifted, hardened. I walked to my dresser, the only piece of furniture still holding my things, and pulled out the manila envelope I'd hidden there days ago. You want to talk about help? I dropped the envelope at Alex's feet. These are copies of everything. The forged documents. The transfers. The messages to all 3 potential fathers. I've already sent them to the SEC, the district attorney, and every sponsor Jenna has. Jenna's camera dipped. You're bluffing. Check your emails. Your sponsors should be dropping you right about. I looked at my watch. Now. Her phone chimed repeatedly, right on cue. The color drained from her face as she read. You've ruined everything, she whispered. No. I headed for the door, pausing only to pick up my fallen phone. You did that all on your own. I'm just making sure everyone sees the truth. Nadia, wait, Alex called after me. Save it for the prosecutors, I said, not looking back. I'm done being the villain in your family story. The baby's cries followed me down the stairs, but for the first time in weeks, I felt nothing but clarity. They wanted a war. Now they had one. The courthouse steps felt endless as I climbed them, clutching my briefcase like a shield. Reporters clustered at the entrance, drawn by Jenna's social media following and the salacious headlines about family betrayal. I kept my eyes forward, ignoring their shouted questions. Inside, I found Liam waiting in the hallway outside courtroom C. His expression told me everything before he spoke. They're all here, he said quietly. The whole family. Even Walter and Susan's church group showed up for support. Of course they did. The perfect family, rallying around their perfect daughter. I smoothed my skirt, checking my reflection in the window. The woman staring back looked tired, haunted. The second investigator is running late, my lawyer whispered as we entered. But the evidence. Her voice trailed off as we saw them. Alex's family occupied the first 2 rows, a solid wall of disapproval. Jenna sat between her parents, one hand protectively over her stomach, the other clutching her mother's arm. The baby was conspicuously absent, their final manipulation. Alex stood as we approached, his lawyer's mask firmly in place. "We can still stop this," he said softly. "For everyone's sake." "Like you stopped the media campaign against me? Or the freeze on my accounts? You brought this on yourself." Before I could respond, the bailiff called for order. The judge entered, not our usual judge, I noticed. Alex's slight smile confirmed my suspicion, they'd managed to get the case reassigned. The next hour passed in a blur of legal terminology and character assassination. Alex's lawyer painted me as unstable, obsessed, a danger to their family. My attorney tried to present the financial evidence. But the judge seemed more interested in Jenna's tearful testimony about my erratic behavior and threatening presence. "Your Honor," my lawyer protested, "the bank records clearly show." "What they show," Alex's lawyer interrupted, "is my client protecting family assets from someone clearly intent on revenge. We have dozens of witnesses who can testify to Mrs. Henderson's declining mental state." Declining mental, I started to stand, but Liam's hand on my arm stopped me. The judge peered over his glasses. "Mrs. Henderson, are you prepared to undergo a psychiatric evaluation?" The room tilted slightly. "What?" "Given the serious nature of your accusations and the documented pattern of behavior, I'm inclined to order a full evaluation before proceeding." "But the evidence will be considered after we've established your competency to bring these charges." I looked around the courtroom, at all the faces I once considered family. Susan dabbed at her eyes with a handkerchief. Walter shook his head sadly. Jenna leaned against Alex, the perfect picture of a sister seeking protection. Furthermore, the judge continued, "I'm extending the temporary restraining order. You are to have no contact with any member of the family, including the infant, pending evaluation." "The infant isn't even," I bit back the words. "They'd planned this perfectly. Any protest now would just prove their point about my stability." "We're only trying to help you," Alex said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The concerned husband, still trying to save his troubled wife. I stood up slowly, my legs barely supporting me. "You want to help me? Tell them the truth. Tell them about the forged documents, the stolen money, everything." "Mrs. Henderson," the judge warned, "this outburst isn't helping your case." "None of this is helping my case," I laughed, the sound brittle even to my own ears. "They've made sure of that." I grabbed my briefcase and walked out, ignoring my lawyer's protests. Behind me, I heard Jenna's perfectly timed sob, the murmur of sympathetic voices. In the hallway, Liam caught up with me. "Nadia, wait. We can appeal. They won." My voice cracked. "They took everything, my home, my money, my reputation. And now they're trying to take my sanity." "Not everything," he said firmly. "You still have the truth." I watched through the courthouse window as Alex and his family emerged into a sea of reporters, Jenna protected in their midst. They'd scripted this perfectly for social media, the troubled sister-in-law, the family standing strong together. The truth? I turned away from the window. The truth is, they're better at lying than I am at telling the truth. But as I walked away, something shifted inside me. They wanted me to play the villain in their story? Fine. It was time to stop fighting fair. The call came at 3 in the morning. I almost ignored it, but something made me check the number. "Alex. Jenna's gone." His voice cracked. "She took the baby." I sat up in Liam's guest bed, fully awake now. "What do you mean, gone?" "There's a note." He stopped, breathing heavily. She says she can't handle it anymore. The pressure, the investigation, everything. She just left. Have you called the police? I can't. The desperation in his voice was new. If they investigate, everything will come out. The money, the documents. Please, Nadia. Help me find her. I laughed, the sound harsh in the darkness. Now you want my help? After everything you did? This isn't about us anymore. There's a baby involved. There was always a baby involved, Alex. You just didn't care how it affected me then. Silence stretched between us. When he spoke again, his lawyer's composure had cracked completely. She emptied the accounts. All of them. Even my parents' retirement fund. Of course she had. I'd seen the pattern in her emails, the slow drain of resources from everyone around her. But they'd been too busy protecting her to notice. Please, he whispered. You're the only one who saw through her. You must have some idea. I do. I got up, moving to the window. The city lights blurred through the glass. I know exactly where she is. Tell me. No. The word felt like freedom. I'll tell the SEC investigators. And the police. And every reporter who called me unstable and obsessed. Nadia, don't. You know what's funny? I pressed my forehead against the cool glass. I actually felt guilty about gathering evidence against her. About exposing your perfect family's lies. But you never felt guilty about destroying me, did you? A notification popped up on my phone, a new post from one of Jenna's backup social media accounts. The one her family didn't know about, but I'd been monitoring for weeks. Check her Instagram, I said. The real one, not the public account. I heard him typing, then a sharp intake of breath. There she was, posed on a beach somewhere, cocktail in hand. No baby in sight. This can't be real. It's dated 2 days ago. Before she supposedly gave birth? I smiled into the darkness. Amazing what a fake pregnancy belly and borrowed baby can accomplish, isn't it? Your sister's quite the content creator. But I saw the baby. Did you? Or did you see what she wanted you to see? Check the birth certificate. The hospital records. Actually check them this time, instead of just believing whatever she told you. His breathing had turned ragged. Why are you doing this? I'm not doing anything. I'm just finally letting the truth do what it does best, destroy lies. If you go public with this, you'll what? Declare me mentally unstable again? Good luck with that. The SEC has everything now, including evidence of how you helped her forge documents and hide money. Your law license won't survive that, Alex. A sound somewhere between a laugh and a sob came through the phone. You planned this. You knew she'd run. No. I just knew who she really was, while you were all too busy protecting her to see it. I moved away from the window. The police will be at your house in about 20 minutes. I'd suggest having your parents there too. Make it a real family reunion. Nadia, wait. I ended the call and blocked his number. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. My phone lit up with notifications as Jenna's deception started trending online. Her followers were already turning on her, sharing screenshots of her contradicting posts, exposing more lies. Liam appeared in the doorway, concern etched on his face. You okay? No. I handed him my phone, showing him the chaos unfolding on social media. But I will be. What happens now? I watched the first police car turn onto the street below, heading toward Alex's house. Toward the perfectly crafted life that was about to shatter. Now they learn what it feels like to lose everything. The sirens grew louder, their wail a symphony of justice finally being served. The news alert popped up during my morning coffee. Social media influencer arrested in Bali, investment fraud scheme exposed. I swiped it away. But another quickly replaced it. Prominent attorney faces disbarment hearing. Liam set a moving box on my new kitchen counter. You sure you don't want to watch any of it? I lived it. I handed him a coffee. The aftermath is someone else's story. My phone buzzed, Susan's number. I'd blocked everyone else, but kept hers, waiting for this moment. When I answered, her voice was smaller than I remembered. Walter had a heart attack. The words hung in the air between us. I waited. The stress, the publicity, everything with Jenna. She paused. He's stable, but Alex won't visit. Says he can't face his father after everything. What do you want from me, Susan? I don't know. A quiet sob. To apologize? To understand how we got here? We were supposed to be family. Family doesn't try to destroy each other. We thought we were protecting her. No. I watched steam rise from my coffee. You were protecting yourselves. Your image. Your perfect family story. Jenna was just the excuse. Another pause, longer this time. The investigators found the trust fund papers. The ones from before your wedding. Alex never told you, did he? My hand tightened on the mug. What trust fund? The one Walter and I set up for your future children. The one Jenna emptied 6 months ago. The coffee turned to acid in my stomach. More lies, more betrayals, stretching back further than I'd imagined. Why are you telling me this now? Because you deserved better. Her voice cracked. And because I need to know, did you know where she was all along? Could you have stopped this sooner? I thought about the screenshots I'd gathered, the evidence I'd waited to release until exactly the right moment. About revenge served cold and calculated, just like they'd taught me. Would you have believed me if I tried? Her silence was answer enough. Goodbye, Susan. I ended the call before she could respond. Liam watched me from across the counter. You okay? Actually, yes. I picked up the last photo frame from my box, not my wedding photo, but one from before, when I was younger and smiled easier. I think I finally am. My laptop chimed with an email notification. The SEC wanted another statement, more evidence. Below that, a message from my lawyer about the civil suit against Alex's firm. The system that had once been used against me was now working in my favor, grinding slowly toward justice. You never told me, Liam said carefully. Did you really know where Jenna was the whole time? I walked to my new apartment's window, looking out at a view that wasn't haunted by memories. I knew who she was. The rest was just waiting for everyone else to see it too. And Alex? Will spend the rest of his life wondering if he could have prevented it all by just listening to me once. I turned back to the kitchen. To the future I was building. Some revenge is better served by walking away and letting karma do its job. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from an unknown number. A photo of Jenna in handcuffs, being led from a luxury resort. Below it, 2 words from my lawyer, worth waiting? I deleted the message without responding. The satisfaction I'd expected to feel was there, but it was different now, not the hot rush of revenge, but the quiet certainty of justice served. Help me hang this? I held up the old photo, the one of my younger self. Liam grabbed a hammer from the toolbox. Where do you want it? I pointed to the wall facing my bed, where it would be the first thing I'd see each morning. Not as a reminder of what I'd lost or what I'd done, but of who I'd been before, and could be again. Right here, I said. Where I can see myself clearly. The hammer struck the nail, the sound sharp and final in the quiet apartment. Like a period at the end of a very long sentence.